Up here on line 36, anytime we're iterating over an array, React expects us to provide a key. Keys help React keep track of each. Our browser is 100% reliable. Return this. I'm running the debug twice in Chrome, so go out to Chrome's extensions, and this will open our dev tools. I'm going to size this back just a little so we can see what's going on. But now, if I put in course 2 and I hit enter, it's going to hit our breakpoints again. But if I come back over to Redux, we can see that we have called create course twice. We can also see that our state right here, multiple ways to see our Redux store. I think I got them all. I'm just going to do a search for courses, and we can even see that I can go back through here, and I can see that at this point at init, courses were empty. And then after calling create, time travel points experience. When we wired up the call to dispatch the create course action earlier, I mentioned that there was a cleaner way to get this done. Let's look at the fourth option, which is to declare map dispatch to props as an object instead of as a function. Instead of declaring this as a function, we can declare map dispatch to props as an object. Inside this object, we can declare properties for each action that we want to expose. We can take all create course. And that's exactly what course actions. Create course is. What happens is Connect will automatically go through and bind each of these functions in a call to dispatch for you. Now, I'm going to undo what I did here and stick with the bind action creators approach, since I like how we won't have to change our map dispatch to props later as we add more actions. When we wired up the call to dispatch the create course action earlier, I mentioned that there was a cleaner way to get this done. How? Well, that's accomplished with the second function that we pass to Connect, which is component. Dispatch as a source. So let's return the create course action. Now there are multiple ways to implement map dispatch. Pass it the course that was received. Again, if I didn't wrap this in dispatch, then nothing would happen, and that's an easy mistake to make to anything. Now that way, component will receive create course as a prop, so it will be wrapped in a call to dispatch for us. So let's update that now. So now we will say this.props Create course. That's much cleaner. We no longer have to wrap it in a call to dispatch because it was handled on map dispatch to props. However, we do have a green squiggly here because we need to jump down and update our prop types. We're no longer passing in dispatch. Now we are passing in create course. Remember, when we pass map dispatch to props to connect, the dispatch function is no longer injected into our container component. Instead, only the actions that we specify are available. Let's jump over to the browser and test it. Great. It's more. So bind action. And you could also even consider using destructuring here in map state to props to shorten your declarations further. Now I could omit the right-hand side. But to avoid more confusion, I'm going to undo that. We've now seen 4 different ways to dispatch actions in our container components. Apps. Finally, under a single actions prop. Now, I'm going to undo what I did here and stick with the bind action creators approach since I like how we won't have to. You could also undo that. Redux errs on the side of being unopinionated and explicit. So as you saw in this module, that means there's some boilerplate we have to write comfortable. There's a section on reducing boilerplate that discusses course actions are just typos waiting to happen. So to avoid typos, it's recommended to use constants instead. For this course, I'm going to create a separate constants, so that's what we'll do. Action types.js. This file will hold the action types used in our system. And since we're creating a course, the first action type is going to be export const create course is equal to a string with the same value. And now that we have a constant, let's update our course actions to use the constant. I will import it at the top. And then, instead of calling this string, we can say types.create course. Now notice that I get auto-completion support right here. So now I can't make a typo. We can update our reducer as well. So let's open up our course reducer. I'm going to copy this and put it in our reducer. Up and right down here, instead of referencing the string, we'll now say types.support because I did make sure we didn't break anything. Come back over, hit test. Great, works. Way to go, programming adventurer. If we were pair programming in person right now, I'd give you a high five because you're over the biggest O using actions with action type constants. We created our first and a container store, explore fundamentals, and however to a server. That by loading API call on page